The following is a Sarovian presentation of CTS Sports.
The CROWNS are lacking
He shoots, he scores! Urko's on the breakaway, scores! The king is dead! Welcome back to the Pulowa Cup Finals. We head to the Gardens in New Sarovia, where the Admirals reel from what might be the worst defeat in the history of the AHI. The CROWNS now hold a 2-0 series lead heading into Game 3, and honestly, Don, this feels like a turning point night already. Actually, who am I kidding? Turning point? The Admirals have let in 19 goals in 2 games. It was never even close. They say pressure doesn't create character, it reveals it. But the uncontrollable crash-outs and temper tantrums we've grown to expect from Durkos Atlas are absent on the Adjacea Admirals, and if anyone thought they'd see his true colors last night, be warned. He's more broken than ever.
Listen, Rory, I'm broken too. I was promised a good matchup between the Belbada Legion and the Sarhome Crowns. Now we have the Sarhome Crowns against what can only be described, right, as the Adjacea Argents, a minor league team. And you know, I have to give Nix Fosso credit. She's keeping her team motivated by being positive, or trying to, in their group chats, you know. But someone has to tell her to shut the hell up. This isn't the time to be positive. This is the time to be angry, livid, absolutely livid. You're getting thrashed. Does this woman not realize she's never going to win a cup with this attitude?
Don, this series has shifted quickly. The first 2 games weren't just wins for the CROWNS, they were absolutely dominating wins. Structured, patient, clear and clean, and most of all, methodical Hoquenna.
I'll tell you right now, this ain't adversity, Rory. This is a storm warning, and Adjacea forgot to build a roof. They better take cover below deck, you hear me? 2 games in, and the CROWNS haven't even looked stressed. Not sweating, not scrambling, just skating around like they own the league again, which, hate to say it, they kinda do. And look at them, Safley sitting down on the ice, literally begging someone to shoot pucks against her. Baydara Lion begging them to get shots on goal. This is ridiculous with a capital R, Rory.
The word I keep returning to is composure. The CROWNS aren't faster necessarily. You have players like Toros Feroxy who can feel the speed. But the CROWNS, they're calmer. Every decision feels pre-decided. They've practiced these steps a million times.
Because they've been here. Everybody keeps talking about systems, tactics, nonsense. This is experience beating enthusiasm with a steel chair. And can you really say the Admirals have enthusiasm anymore? If they do, it's been beaten, pulverized, smacked down, taken advantage of, bent over, whatever you want to call it. The Admirals are broken, absolutely broken. They look like they just want the series to be over with. And can you blame them? They're being belt-to-bottomed out there. Pow! Ka-chow! Poof! Gone! You hear that? That's the sound of you losing if you don't smarten up. You got Cusco Fosso, best player to ever touch the ice. Yeah, I said it. And he's playing like this whole thing is mildly inconvenient. Chirping, pesting, stealing pucks, scoring, rubbing in your faces. Listen, he's probably relishing the fact he's getting points in a record year, but you can tell he's bored.
The CROWNS, champions in Season 1, runners-up in Season 2, now the clear favorites again. Adjacea, meanwhile, wasn't even expected to survive the semifinals, and it doesn't look like they're going to survive the finals either. There is a serious, genuine chance they don't even score a goal all series.
Adjacea shocked Belbada, good for them, but the CROWNS aren't shocked by anything. You cannot surprise a team coached by Albaros Vasa. That guy prepares like he's studying for a war tribunal. There's also emotional history here. Durkos Atlas defeating the CROWNS last season with the Virgos Vortex. Now he's retired as a coach. You know there's bad blood between him and Fosso, and him and Vasa, and him and Lion, and him and, honestly, everyone. He's pissed off a lot of people. Now the CROWNS are returning the favor tenfold.
This game definitely feels personal, but I've not seen much vocal hate being directed to Durkos himself.
Oh, they hate him. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, especially Cusco. Former teammates, won together, then Atlas takes all the credit? claims he's better than Cusco when Cusco put up 91 points in comparison to Atlas's 51 points. Constantly brags as a roach, coach, that he's the greatest of all time? Oh yeah, that sticks. Cusco's been playing these first 2 games like he's punishing a recruit for speaking without permission. He's angry. And listen to Jerome and Baydara Lion. They remember that loss. They remember what it feels like to be defeated. They don't want that again.
So Ajasia has a problem tonight, and it's a big one. What does Durkos Atlas have to change tonight?
Everything. Listen, Rory. Listen, here's a bit of Sarovian wisdom for you from an old vet like me. RSR, baby, all right? When we were battling those goddamn Jacobites, right? All right? Listen, you know what I mean? When we were battling them, we can win on the field all we want. It didn't do anything. So the Emperor and the army adopted mental warfare. And Prince John, the Emperor, the Imperial Army, they got into the heads of those traitor scum. And that worked. Or, listen, way back before my time in the Grand Restoration, right? You know, we fought everywhere at once, forced those guys to disperse their forces, way different than they were used to. Those strategies work because they are different. It forces the opponent to wake up and adapt. The Crowns have all the momentum. Yes, we say it a million times a game, but they also, and this is the key bit, Rory, right? Listen, they have the initiative. They choose when to attack. They choose when to score. They choose everything. The Admirals adapt. They don't force things to happen. All 3 fights in 2 games, initiated by Crowns. That's Crown initiative.
Their movement has stalled. You are right, Don. They can't even get the puck in the zone, let alone on net. They can barely get to the Crown's blue without the help from Ferox and occasionally Fosso. The absence of Gios Truba is glaring, and it shows the Admirals have little depth in a series they were expected to put up at least a bit of a fight in.
I've seen Theodore and Sue Kinwood cry like children harder than the Admirals fought last night, Rory. The Crowns won the medal game 2 minutes into Game 1. The physical game was won by the end of the first half of Game 2. Is there even a game the Admirals can win?
They certainly are on the back foot, but they're not out. And you're right. That mental warfare is weighing heavy on them. And despite being in Korodia and Ajasia earlier, Crowns fans dominated the atmosphere and the stands. Tonight in Sarholm, that advantage multiplies.
Oh, it's going to be vicious. Crowns fans don't boo, they mock you. Sarcastic chants, slow claps, placing vexes and curses on players, the whole thing. Ajasia kids are about to learn that Sarholm playoff noise isn't just loud, it's personal. It gets in your face, and you will not forget it. Not one bit.
They're really ruthless, Don, aren't they? They make fun of those who lost the national championship. They rallied against Amaya, who Albaros Vasa traded early in the season, saying they don't need her, or asking her to score more goals. They're screaming the Admirals can't beat the Crowns. Everything. It's very loud there.
And it's going to get to their head. You know, last game, we had Matty Kane and Toros Ferox fighting. And Ferox, what a champ. A good win. A good, clean, long fight at center ice. He desperately tried to rally his team and motivate them to fight. Didn't work a lick. You have Amaya Muccelli getting to her head about those goals you talked about. Fans are calling her Sarholm sleeper agent Amaya because she's scoring so many own goals against the Admirals. It's only going to get worse.
That it is, Don. So buckle up, because puck drop is moments away. Stay tuned for Game 3 of the Pulowa Cup Finals, now at Sarholm Gardens in New Sarovia, and the Crowns are positioned to win the cup. At home, if they can pull ahead tonight and tomorrow.
I wanna love you, I wanna make you mine. Would you lay it on the line? Lay it on the
I'm here with CROWNS defenseman Tita Manilow, who's playing her first game of the entire playoffs tonight after a series of scheduling conflicts. Tide, we're happy to have you here.
It's great to be here, Rory. Let's get to it.
Firstly, this is your first major league game in the playoffs. How are you feeling about your ability going into it?
I'm so excited, Rory. I miss playing with my team. They're my family. Now, I am a bit nervous since my last game with the CROWNS was a while ago, but I'm confident in my ability and role as a defenseman. I can't wait to be on the ice.
Secondly, how do you feel about how the CROWNS have played so far? This might be one of the most lopsided series we've seen yet. People are saying we might see CROWNS in 4. What are your thoughts?
The CROWNS have played amazing. One word to describe the team is machine. They're a freaking machine. The teamwork and passes are on a completely different level. Nobody compares to the CROWNS. Nobody.
Finally, we have to ask, you were captain of the Blues during the minor league playoffs in which you managed to sweep the Belbada Blacks and capture the Memorial Cup. How do you feel about your team's performance, and could it show anything about how the main roster has done or will do?
The team played amazing, even if there was less of us. I have to give a shout out to our coach Alberos for playing his heart out. I know he's always wanted to lace them up himself, and he destroyed everyone in his path. Of course, it also helps that Belbada was completely lost and broke so many rules. They made it too easy for us. There's really one response. If you have Sarholm in your name, you don't lose.
Well, we'll see what happens tonight. Good luck out there, Tide.
Thanks, Rory.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful early spring evening, we welcome you to Sarholm Gardens, the home of your Sarholm CROWNS. Folks, we're just 2 games away from a historic series sweep, and with His Imperial Majesty and the people of our city as witness, the boys and girls in orange, white, and blue stand ready to take one step closer towards immortality. It's time to stand up, get loud, and get started with Game 3 of the Pulowa Cup Finals. So please, without further ado, give it up for your Sarholm CROWNS! Please rise and face the flag for the singing of our national anthem.
Solgaros terrirno pornos, disco mariros divene un pro, pecuare via mar passusumos, oh mar proteges, eso terchuasi, ciude di paiso sabrele se poso, dismera feor merge los comarir, Disvisolega por fami fornir, infantio, infanti, lai bene, ito terriro si ruber disperos, ci diri proteggerse i toro zenem, i brandir di sabre la cara de sterra, Isso diz mas o promaredo unir Roser leiterai mir E diz mas o promaredo unir Roser leiterai mir
Game 3 here at Sarovia Gardens. The Sarovia Crowns will take on the Ajaccio Admirals in what can only be described as a bit of a massacre. Yesterday, the Crowns won 13-0 in their second and what might be, if the trend continues, their final game of the season away from home. And on the ice today is Jerome Kane, Matos Kane, and Sap Blay. And on the bench is Cusco Fazzo. And an excellent, exciting return for Tita Manala, who is now back on the Crowns roster after winning the Memorial Cup there with the Sarovia Blues. In the Ajaccio zone now, Kane battling close with Feroxe. Up to the top. Sent all the way back in by Jerome Kane, laying some big hits in the top corner. Feroxe to the boards and sent back to Blay. Blay sends it in, and Mucelli gets it off the boards, ricochets back towards the red line. Sent in by Jerome Kane. Here comes Jerome, shot there, stopped by Nick Fazzo. Sent to the south. Dumped in by Jerome Kane with a little help from Matty. Back towards Jerome, and that's sent towards Dirkos Atlas and out of play. The Kane brothers, according to rumor online on Strata, are competing in an informal race against one another when it comes to points in the postseason. Matos Kane, our favorite Matty the Hattie, is consistently but barely maintaining the lead, and only time will tell if that's going to continue. Now the Crown zone. Sent towards the blue line, shot there by Nick Fazzo, stopped by Matty Kane. Feroxe can't hold it in. Sent back in the neutral zone. Huge hits being laid all around by the Crowns. They're really laying the body here tonight. Here comes Feroxe. Stopped there by Tita Manalo. Sent back towards the Crowns blue. Feroxe off the boards, and Fazzo gets it away. Fazzo battling alongside Cousin, sent next to Bidera Lyon. Now cycling behind the boards. Feroxe battling there. Manalo takes it from behind the net. Manalo towards Lyon. Glove save, Ruin there. Play is still in shot. Gotten away, good pad save by the alternate captain. Tita Manalo still battling there. Sent towards the pads, kept it on goal, and a great save by Bidera Lyon. Sent back towards goal, and that's going to be a glove save and a late shot there that Cusco Fazzo will take exception to. Fazzo has been consistently the one to answer the bell for the Crowns, and he's willing to fight anyone and anything that moves, especially those that get a little too close. It's our Crowns crease. Swords in, bottom Crown zone. Nick Fazzo is going to take the draw alongside Jerome Kane, and her debut on the ice for the Crowns, Tita Manalo, finally in the playoffs. Manalo trying to get it out. That shot rings off the post from Feroxe. Manalo trying to get it away across the goal post, and a great save by Bidera Lyon into the fight in the Crowns crease as Captain Klitschko is letting Amaya Mucelli have it and sending her packing. Again, these Admirals players are dirty, dirty players indeed. They're taking late shots. They're hitting the goaltender. There's a hit right there at the face-off dot. And it's the Crowns, mainly Matty Kane and Jerome, sometimes, and Cusco Fazzo as well, laying the body and letting these players know that that's not acceptable. Now for the goal, and scores! Jerome Kane answers with a quick, easy goal that makes short work. Ajasia goaltender would as per Mara. 5:55 on the clock. 1-0 Sarovia. And this is exactly the type of punishment that Ajasia can expect for the rest of the night. Game 1, 6-0. Game 2, 13-0. And quite frankly, I'm surprised the Crowns don't have more goals than this. And for the first time in this entire series, the Ajasia Admirals have more shots on goal than the Sarovia Crowns. Face off won by the Crowns and got at the logo. Fazo sends it into the zone. Struggling to get a shot on goal. Here comes Sapley, and both of them spawn on the pass. And decide neither to take it. Here comes Michelli, gotten away by Flay. Sent south, Matos Kane sends a centering pass, and Fazo's too far to get it. Sent back in on goal there. Fazo knocked down by Feroxe. Here comes Matty Kane with a huge hit in the corner. Cusco holds it in. Holding it again for a second time, but Fazo is unable to hold it at the blue line. Double hit there. Sapley at the red line. Sent right past Flay. Gone away from the Admirals. Matty Kane gets it back to Vlay. Maya. Here comes Matty. Centering pass. Fazo can't get the shot off. Interference there by Feroxe. Robs him of the opportunity. And a great hit by Matty Kane again. Fazo clears it from Feroxe, but Muccelli gets it towards the blue line. Dumps it on goal. Manalo now on the ice. Feroxe gets it out of the zone. Here comes Fazo. Fazo with a chance off the post. Pass it to Matty Kane. Matty Kane shoots and scores! A breakaway chance for Captain Clutch. And that goes right to Matty the Hattie, 2-0 Sarovia. And the first goal was that scored at 5:55 remaining in the first, and this one 4:44. Is Cusco or Tito Manolo or Sapley going to get one at 3:33? At this point, might be possible. What isn't possible is Durkos Atlas winning tonight's game. 18 games coached for Durkos Atlas, and he has a 50% win rate, one of the worst in the AHI for coaches who've coached over 15 games. And with that goal, the Sarovia Crowns take the lead in shots on goal, as well as the score. Manalo gets that cleanly pulled back to her and sent right into the Ajasia zone off the post by Cusco Fazo. Now in the top zone. Jerome King going to chase it, centering pass nowhere, sent all the way up, and Fazo can't hold it in. Manalo gets it towards the blue. Back to Cusco Fazo, sends it south. Manalo's not there waiting for him. Sent up to Fazo, past the blue line, big hit there by his cousin, and a huge hit on Jerome Kane. The Admirals are not playing around tonight. Sent back to Cusco Fazo, intercepted by Nix. Shot there by Toros, and a great save. Holy Stefanos, what a fantastic save, and the crowd loves that by Vedera Mayon to keep the game at 0 for the Crowns. And that's going to be what I thought was a glove save. Officials are going to let that play. Comes Jerome Kane battling behind the boards. Hit there by Feroxe. Nix can't clear it. Here comes Fazo, gets it past both of Maya Muccelli and Feroxe, but sent back towards the Crowns blue. Feroxe takes it back to Vlay. Vlay dumps that in, and with a little help from Fazo, and from the goal, it scores! Cusco Fazo, and I can only hope this is 3:33 on the clock. 3 seconds too late. Come on, Captain Clutch, you can do better than that next time. And with 3:30 to go in the first, the Crowns lead 3-0, but the shots on goal tell a much different story. 7 for the Admirals and 8 for the Crowns. A much more even number considering Game 1 against the Ajasia Admirals. Both halves combined The boys in blue and white from out of town only had 7 shots total.
Remaining in the first half.
Now Sat play, struggling with Nick Spazzo at the blue line in the Crown zone. Your own Kane off for Matty Kane and a huge hit late at the face-off dot. Here comes Spazzo at the top. Spazzo hit by Muccelli. That's sent back towards play. Here comes Nick Spazzo. Matty Kane intercepts that, plays a hit on the boards. Feroxe with a big hit. Muccelli gets that into the Crown zone. Beats Cusco Fazzo's block. 3 minutes to go in the first. Big hit there by Feroxe on Blay. Blay circles around the bottom. Blay with a little help from Cusco Fazzo, and that's out of the zone. Matty Kane gets it away from Muccelli, and that's going to be a big hit by Nick Spazzo, and it's sent right back in the Crown zone. Cleared by Matty Kane. Here comes Spazzo with an opportunity. Clears it from both defenders, but Feroxe beats him to the punch at the blue. Spazzo off the boards and now into the Ajaccia zone. Sent back out, off the boards again, and Feroxe puts it in his own corner. Huge hit on Natty the Hattie there. Crowns keep it in the zone. Sat play off, here comes Manalo. Towards the blue line, Fazzo holds it in, back towards Kane. Sent south, but there's going to be no Tita Manalo to put it in. Sent past the blue, sent up Fazzo with a shot that rings off the side of the cage. Back in the top Ajaccia zone. Time ticking down, 2 minutes to go in the first. Fazzo sends it back, blocked by Nick Spazzo. Here comes the Admirals the other way, intercepted by Manalo. Feroxe, back to Manalo. Feroxe sends it back in on goal, in front of the goal, and a great, oh my God, glove save by Meira Lyon, and there is a physical hit there. Cusco's chasing alongside Matty Kane, laying some late hits there on Toros Feroxe. And that could have been bad for the Sarovia Crowns. Shots tied 8 apiece. But the boys in orange, white, and blue are making sure that they don't go anywhere here at home in Sarovia Gardens. And Yaron Kane is on the ice now for the Crowns, and he's had a very successful postseason, and he's really putting up the stats to prove that he belongs on the Sarovia Crowns. A lot of people online have circulated that he's quote-unquote washed or faded, but he's proven all those haters wrong with a stellar playoff performance, and he's letting everyone know that the #1 Sarovia veteran, the first player ever to reach 50 games in the AHI, is still in it to win it. Manalo sends it up towards Yaron Kane, who takes a shot blocked by Muccelli at the red line now. Yaron able to chip that in on goal, off the post now. Unaz Kamara sends it away. Fazzo sends it south. Feroxe trying to get away from the blue line with a big hit there by Yaron Kane. Fazzo brings it off the post. Kane chasing Feroxe behind the Ajaccia net now. Fazzo battling Fazzo on the boards. Maya Muccelli joining in with some physical hits there. Hits in the blue. Fazzo can't hold it in. Manalo trying to get it away. Sends it back towards the goal, but Fazzo's there to stop it. Dangerous position there and on goal. And a great save and a hit there on Meira Lyon. And that should be definitely called. But the referees are keeping the whistles swallowed here tonight. Here comes Yaron. 2-on-1. Shot there. Rebound. Cusco and score! Cusco Fazzo scores off an excellent shot by Yaron Kane. Pad save by Unaz Kamara. And the Ajaccia Admirals don't think that's going to go in, but that was clearly a Crowns goal, and they know nothing. You may call me the Sarovia Crowns announcer, and you may call me a bit of a homer, but these boys are the best team the Sarovia Crowns have ever fielded. Season 1, Valera Atlas, forget about her. Robert Lyon, forget about it. Toros, he has nothing compared to the worst of Sarovia Crowns players, and neither do any of these Admirals. The Crowns are absolutely dominating tonight, as they did in games 2 and 1. And this is going to be an exciting game altogether. Matty Kane, Fazzo brings it off the post again. Late shot there. He's had a bit of an accuracy problem for a while. Shot again, rings off the blocker. Unaz Kamara still in the Ajaccia zone. Nix keeps it in on accident. Matty Kane playing some pressure on Feroxe. Big hit there. Toros trying to get it out with help. Nick Fazzo tucked it on goal. Shot and scores with 6 seconds seconds to go. Toros for Roxay, puts it in his own goal. And that is 5-0 Sarovia. And the Crowns bench is getting stacked as line changes are underway.
Remaining in the first half, number 9.
And I think the referees are calling that at halftime, and they're going to add the 6 seconds on to the second. And so we head to intermission. The Crowns lead 5-0, but the shots on goal are a little more even. 13-10 in favor of the Crowns. We have some exciting analysis by Don and Rory, as always, at halftime, so you don't want to miss it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in a second.
He shoots! He scores! Holy Stefanos! He's done it again!
The Virgos Vortex have won the Pulowa Cup! Pulowa scores! The Crowns have won it!
I wanna love you, I wanna make you mine. Would you lay it on the line? Lay it on the line. Lay it on the line. Lay it on the line. Don't waste my time.
There comes a moment in competition when effort remains, but belief quietly leaves the room. Don, watching this first half, it feels less like a contest and more like a realization. The Ajaccio Admirals are discovering exactly how far away they still are from a championship standard in Hoquenna. They're just not there.
Realization? Rory, this ain't realization. This is a public education program. I know those stinky colonials out west don't have a proper public school, but this is the closest thing they're gonna get. The Crowns are teaching a masterclass in how to win Hoquenna games, and Ajaccio forgot to study or take notes or even show up, honestly. Baydara Lion could have stayed home today. No, screw that. She should have. Bring a lawn chair, maybe knit a sweater, break out the canvas and the watercolors since she's so good at art, right? Write a law or two in the crease. Ask the crowd for their opinion. She's seen more action at warm-ups than in actual play. That's not hyperbole, Rory. She genuinely has faced more shots in warm-ups today than the Admirals have given her all series, really. I counted 36 in all 3 games to less than 20 in all 3 games combined today. I've seen goalies busier signing autographs. She's standing there bored out of her mind, probably counting ceiling lights or sheep if she's really tired.
There's a strange stillness around her crease. Not dominance through spectacular saves, though she's no stranger to a few of those this series, but rather a dominance through absence. The puck simply never arrives.
Exactly, and that's worse. People think domination is highlight saves. Nope. Real domination is when your goalie becomes a decorative object. She's basically arena furniture right now. You could replace her with a statue of herself and nobody notices. Ajaccio crosses center ice and immediately loses the puck like it's radioactive. No pressure sustained, no structure, nothing. Amateur hour, really, but it's because of the excellent defense on the Crowns' blue line. We've seen Tita Manalo and Sap Vlay lock down defense, and what a return for Tita Manalo, her first game in the playoffs after winning the Memorial Cup with the Sarhome Blues.
You can see something psychological happening. Some Ajaccia shifts in Game 1, even early in Game 2, had urgency. Now movements feel hesitant, disconnected, bored, just waiting for the impending loss.
They're rattled! Fully, completely, and utterly rattled! The Admirals are done! They've resigned themselves to a loss. They're not even trying. Not one practice held. Not one conversation held. Not one debate, strategy, anything. They are doing nothing to change this. All you have is Nick's Fosso spreading false positivity that's hurting, not helping. They've accepted they're going to lose, and you can see it. Watch their body language. Heads down, returning to center ice after goals. Nobody talking. Guys skating back to the bench and just hoping nobody talks to them. And here's the worst part. They don't look angry anymore. Angry teams fight back. These guys look like they've given up already.
The Crowns aren't chasing the game. They're dictating pace, space, and emotion.
Emotion! That's it! You hit the nail on the head, Rory. Look at you, Rory. You're learning something from me. Maybe my incredibly handsome looks and constant correctness is rubbing off on you. Emotion. Ajaccia's got none left. The Crowns forecheck once, and 3 Admirals panic at the same time. Passing into skates, clearing pucks to nobody, turnovers everywhere. This is what happens when a young team realizes the opponent is smarter, stronger, and calmer. And the Admirals have basically given up. Honestly, do we even need a Game 4?
Yes, Don, we still need a Game 4.
Just give the Crowns the cup already.
The Crowns certainly feel they deserve it. You can see Vasa telling his guys not to rush, not to panic, just play. It's a game after all. But SAR home possession feels inevitable, as if they already know the outcome of the game. And being thrashed 19-0 in goals over the span of 2 games is pretty hard to shake off if you're the visiting team, Don.
They're playing keep away. It's silly, childish, immature, disrespectful playground stuff. You ever see older kids let the little kids chase the ball? That's this game. Crowns cycle once, Ajaccia spins in circles, goal eventually happens. Repeat, over and over. And the Admirals bench? Nobody is taking charge. Nobody dragging teammates forward. Nobody urging them on. I'd be willing to bet their comms are quiet. Nobody is talking. Nobody is motivating. That motivation began in Game 1. Nyx tried her best. Bless her heart. Now, as absent as ever, they're completely overwhelmed.
But Don, there is a difference between losing badly and being overwhelmed. Overwhelmed changes decision-making, right? Players stop making plays they usually would in order to not make a mistake or screwing up.
So what? So what, Rory? They're making mistakes and getting a combined 13 shots on... Wait a minute. Wake up! The Crowns have as many goals last night as the Admirals have had in both games combined. And you're sitting here telling me, oh, well, overwhelmed means they're not making decisions they usually do. What decisions? They don't get chances. They can't even get it out of their zone. And I'm going to say it, some of these Admirals look like they already booked off-season vacations. Durkos is completely losing the plot.
The SAR home crowd senses it too. The noise isn't anxious, it's celebratory. Those who've watched us from the beginning know that we here at Swords Inn are a bit superstitious. We try not to predict outcomes, but history often whispers before it speaks loudly. History is screaming at us right now already.
I'll say it loud. This looks like a sweep. 4 games. Done. If Ajaccia wins a game, hell, if they get a few goals, I will do our next segment completely naked. I swear, I promise, Rory, if the Admirals win a game, I will come out here in all my big Sarovian glory, and you'll see it.
Is there anything to even see?
Hey, they don't call me Dangling Don for nothing, all right? Listen, the Admirals might as well start sailing for home. It's over. It's a sweep. It is a sweep. That's how confident I am. Nothing Ajaccia has shown says they can solve this. Not physically, not mentally, not tactically, not strategically, nothing. The Crowns are comfortably winning, and they look bored as all hell.
All right, Dangling Don. Whatever you say. We're getting close to the second half about to start, but before it does, we've spoken at length here before that sometimes the greatest lesson young teams can learn is not how to win, but what winning actually requires. I don't know about you, Don, but tonight, the Admirals are learning that lesson in the harshest possible classroom. Is there anything they can do?
Short answer, no. Long answer, no! Welcome to Pulowa Cup Hoquenna, baby! The Crowns look like champions. The Admirals look like a team just hoping and praying that the end of Game 4 can't come soon enough.
Wise words from Dangling Don. We'll be back in the postgame after the Crowns and the Admirals battle it out for 8 more minutes at the Gardens. And unless something extraordinary changes, Sarholm will move yet one step closer to completing a sweep.
I wanna love you, I wanna make you mine. Would you lay it on the line? Lay it on the line. Lay it on the line. Lay it on the line. Don't waste my time.
Welcome back to the second, and we have what can only be described as a barn burner here tonight at Sarholm Gardens. The Crowns up 5-0, 8:06 on the clock in the first, apparently, and the game is won. Sent back, and there's a, what's this? Sarholm Crowns have an empty net here, and Bedera Lions joining the fray. We have 4-on-3 here today. Kane on the blue line. Bedera Lion tries to take a shot. Would ask Primara, gets it away. Here comes Bedera Lion again, and a rebound stopped by Primara. Gotten away to the top. Nick Spazzo beats Lion to the punch. Tina Manalo battling along the top of the boards there. Little help from Lion, shot there, and scores! Nick Spazzo on her own net, and that is going to be what I can only think is the first ever AHI goaltending goal in history. Just wow. I don't know what to say. We just witnessed the Sarholm Crowns goaltender score on a team that has yet to score on them in 3 straight games. And Dirko's Atlas, he looks quiet on the bench, and understandably so. His team is performing terribly tonight, and they were yesterday, and they will tomorrow when the Sarholm Crowns win the Pulowa Cup.
With 7 minutes, 36 seconds.
Maddie Kane battling Nick Spazzo on the bottom there, and the puck flies over the boards and out of play.
Of the season, assisted by Tina Manalo.
And it seems that Tina Manalo is going to get the assist for that goal, which is her first point in her Sarholm Crowns playoff debut here tonight, and on home ice to boot. And on the ice now, Cusco Fazzo, Satvle, and Maddie Kane holds it in. And And here comes Cinderella Lion again for a second time. She's on the ice once more. Are they going for two? Lion trying to get it away. Nick Sfazio sends it in the Crown zone. Empty net for the Crowns. Lion hit there by Feroxe. Sapley takes the hit and puts it in the Ajaccio zone. Now Lion sends it back. Big hit there along the boards. Fazio hits Fazio. Now an opportunity for the Admirals. Gotten away and Lion sends it towards the blue. Lion with a shot blocked by Muchelli. Sent south. Matty Kane towards Fazio. Sent back to Lion. Shot there and stopped by Blay with a good defensive positioning adjustment at the last minute. Now in the Crown's top corner. Fazio off the boards. Feroxe open net and he completely misses. Matty Kane there battling, and I can't believe my eyes. We have a goalie goal and a impossible to miss shot by Feroxe. That just completely goes wide. It hits right next to the post. In the neutral zone, Fazio blocks a shot and sends it all the way in across the blue. Matty Kane making some hits there, sends south towards Winaz Primara, and he gets that in the neutral zone. Towards Blay, towards Lion now, and Matty Kane sends it back to Blay. Fazio chips it in the bottom. Sarlon corner, now Admirals offside. Matty Kane towards Lion, sends it to the top. Lion shot there, blocked by Muchelli, sends it once more. And that's an easy glove save by Winaz Primara off a shot from Sapley. There's analysts talking all over New Sarovia about Cinderella Lion's save percentage reaching the critical mass of 90%. It's been going up roughly by 0.3 to 4% per game, but now Lion is playing as a forward. It's a 4-on-3, and I think the Sarovia Crowns are just toying with the Admirals. Lion keeps it in. It's a good positioning movement right there in the blue line to prevent the Crowns from going offside momentarily, and Nick Sfazio was able to send that away. Lion off the boards. Gotten away from Nick Sfazio though, and that's sent back in the Crown zone. Toros Feroxe sends it past Lion. Yaron Kane sends it back to Lion with a good pass and sent back to the Crown's blue. Now Blay gets it up. Sent back and Lion stops it at the red. Lion again sends it up to the top, and that's sent back off a misfire to Cusco Fazio. Yaron Kane chips it in momentarily, sent back to Fazio, who sends it south. Feroxe trying to get it past Sapley, doesn't, but now Fazio has it at the Crown's blue. Chips it off the boards with a good pass there, and Lion trying to get a pass towards Yaron Kane in front of the goal, gotten away. Pinera Lion with a good chance, and Feroxe swats it away, and Yaron lays a huge hit on the boards. Nick Sfazio tries to take a shot, cleared by the Crowns in the red line right now. Fazio gets it towards the Ajaccio blue. Lion stops it at the red. Trying to get it at least in the Ajaccio zone, and it goes. Now Lion gets it in front of the goal, past Jerome, in front of the goal now. Winaz tries to get it away, the great save off a misfire from Meyer Muchelli, and that rings off the post. Muchelli almost puts it in her own goal for the second time. Fazio gets into the top Ajaccio zone. Lion going to apply some pressure. In front of the goal, Lion shoots, she scores! The second goalie goal for the Sarovia Crowns, and history is made. And the Crowns are up 7-0. And 2 of those goals were scored by someone who can't even leave the crease. How humiliating this must be for the Ajaccio Admirals. How humiliating. They should be ashamed of themselves. Dirkos Atlas should consider buying a piece of rope. This is absolutely awful for the Sarovia Crowns. The fact that they can bring in a goalie to score goals for them. They're just toying with the Ajaccio Admirals. This isn't a game. This is a glorified theater performance. Sent out of the zone. Shot there by Feroxe, sent back in the neutral zone next to the Ajaccio blue. Here comes Tita Manalo. Manalo shoots, pat angle, scores! Her debut back with the Sarovia Crowns, and Tita Manalo puts it past the post and the pad and Widaz Primara is robbed 8-0 Sarholm, and we still have over a quarter of the game left. This is a humiliation ritual of epic proportions, one that I've never seen in such a... I don't have the words. I do not have the words. What do you do after Nick Sfazo? What do you do if you are Amaya Nucelli? What do you do if you are Toros Foroxe or Dricos Atlas or Gios Truba, who hasn't shown up anywhere in any of these games? What do you do if you're Erdos Truba? What do you do if you're any of his people? Cry? Pray? Hope for a better life? Try to solve world peace? There's nothing you can do. It's 8-0 and the Crowns are dominating you in 2 games. Falzo takes a huge hit on the blue. Safley shoots again. Rebound and stopped by Primar. Shot again by Kane. Stopped for a 3rd time. Widaz Primar was able to sweep that aside. Play pass to your own Kane. Sent back on goal. And Nick Sfazo is going to send that back to Widaz Primar, and he's going to smother it right up. It's seriously time for Dricos Atlas to consider resignation here. This is the most humiliating performance in the history of the AHI. We've had 15-1 losses. We've had 14-2 losses in history. We've had the 12-1 loss in the Winwood Classic. Matty Kane shoots and that brings off the post on the rebound. Sent back again, and Primara sweeps it away. Safley off the boards to Matty Kane. Matty Kane sends it south. Here comes Cusco Fazo. Hits it there. Sends it to the south. Battles there. Safley sends it away. Matty Kane takes it, shoots, scores. This is an absolute humiliation ritual for the Sarovia Crowns, and the Ajaccio Admirals, for the 3rd game straight, are struggling. So much so that Madeira Lion is completely out of the crease, and she's just chatting to Dirk Atlas. Safley takes a shot. Ooh, that's going to be a hit there, and Dirk saying that's going to be a penalty.
Number 33, Safley. 2 minutes, goaltender interference.
I don't know if I like that call there. Madeira Lion was hit many times tonight, and not a single penalty was called against the Ajaccio Admirals. The referees must have missed it, or they're doing a little bit of game management here, being a little sly. The zebras and their striped jerseys on the ice. And so Cusco Fazo and Jerome Kane are on the ice for the Crowns. Usually, this is Safley and Matty Kane who take the penalty kills, but of course, one of Sarholm's best penalty killers are off the ice now, and that's sent south by Nick Sfazo. Nick Sfazo tries to hold it in, and there's a late shot there after a glove smother by Madeira Lion, and Cusco Fazo is going to take exception to that and land some late hits on both the Ajaccio Admirals players.
Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause.
Swords in to the left of Madeira Lion. Jerome Kane taking the draw with Cusco Fazo to his north. 6 seconds expired on the Ajaccio power play, and that's pulled cleanly back by Jerome Kane. He sends that towards the blue, and that's held in by the Admirals. Shot by Mucelli, and a good pass save by Lion. Fazo clears his own. Gets a pass. Jerome Kane on a breakaway, stopped, and a great pass save by Foroxe. with a little help from the Admirals. Shot there blocked by Jerome Kane and Cusco Fazos. That's a Fazo, shoots it from the top of the blue, and that's sent wide. Jerome to the right back, and Fazo has a try too, and that's stopped by Faraxe again. Playing some good defensive minutes as Faraxe off the post. Fazo with an opportunity, and he completely misses a wide open shot there. But he makes sure to take his anger out on Amaya Muccelli at the blue line, and Kane is crushed in the bottom adjacent corner by Toros Faraxe, who sends it out, and that's cleared momentarily. Crowns bring it right back on. Centering pass to Fazo, but he's too far away. Sent to Jerome Kane, backhand pass, and scores! Beautiful playmaking ability by Cusco Fazo off the boards, past all three Ajasia players around him, and Jerome Kane gets a beautiful short-handed goal to make this 10-0 Sarvo with 1:31 to go in the first, or sorry, in the second. And here comes Crown's second best penalty killer on the ice, Matty Kane, and he's going to play with Cusco Fazo. Shots on goal for the Admirals are 13 and 34 for the Sarholm Crowns as Lyon gets that in the neutral zone. Off the boards, and that's sent right back towards Faraxe, and Muccelli sends it south, and Fazo takes a shot, then stopped by Primara and Faraxe. Matty Kane holds it on the goal, and that's sent north by Primara. Dumped in by Fazo, who retreats to the red line, and he's being pestered by Muccelli, laying some hits there at the blue. In front of the goal, and Fazo tries to sweep in, but can't put it in the net. Faraxe trying to get it out of the zone. Behind the goal. Sent up. Fazo retreats back to the blue, and Muccelli lays a hit on him there. 10 seconds to go in the power play for the Admirals, and they can't capitalize on it here. Sent towards the bottom of Jassia's zone. A good dump in there by Matos Kane, and the penalty has expired. Sent back by Fazo. Here comes Faraxe back towards Mineral Lyon, and she makes a good save at the top of the face-off goal. Tafley still not being let in now. I think the referees are having some technical difficulties here, and Fazo tries to beat Faraxe to the punch, but that's sent into the Crown zone, and an easy glove smothered by Mineral Lyon. And that's going to give Tafley some ample opportunity here with 21 seconds to go. And some trash talk between Mineral Lyon and Toros Faraxe, and a late hit. Muccelli laying another hit there, and Fazo a second hit. Fazo returns one, and Muccelli retreats, and there's going to be no whistles blown here. And they're not going to call a penalty on that when they attack the Sarholm Crowns captain. And Faraxe still engaging in some trash talk with Bitter Aloud, and they did a hit on Lyon. Lyon hit twice. Here come the Crowns. The Crowns come, and they jump Toros Faraxe. Hits him again. Hits a third time. Manalo waiting there. Here comes Jerome Kane on the dove. Jerome Kane coming down. Hits Faraxe again. Manalo comes in. Lyon with a good hit there. Chasing the neutral zone. Jerome knocked down. Fazo hits him with the red and knocks Faraxe down.
Number 37, Toros Faraxe. 4 minutes, unsportsmanlike conduct.
And the only one getting a penalty there is going to be Toros Faraxe. He tries to take on the entirety of the Crowns. And with, well, 10 on the clock, it's not looking too good for the Admirals in Game 3, and that's held in by the Admirals by Muccelli. That's going to be a hit there by Muccelli on Bitter Aloud, and here comes Fazo again. Fazo lays a hit there, and nicks Fazo, as well as Maya Muccelli. Another hit there along the boards. Jerome Kane jumping in, 2-on-1.
Number 72, 30, 16, 27, and 77. Cusco Fazo, Jerome Kane, Tita Manalo, Nix Faso, and Amaya Muccelli. 2 minutes each, all for fighting. On account of the clock, we're going to call the game there.
And I've never seen that before. The game is going to end with 17 seconds on the clock still due to all these penalties. And the Sarholm Crowns win Game 3 in what can only be described as exciting, maybe? I can't tell you what that game was, but I'll tell you what it wasn't. It was not the Ajaccio Admirals' best performance ever. And your 3 stars of the game are Tita Manolo on her return to the Sarovia CROWNS playoffs, scoring 1 goal and 1 assist. Bedera Lahan with 2 goals as a skater, and of course Amaya Mucelli for the Sarovia CROWNS for 3 stars. Today's score, you guessed it, 10-0 Sarovia CROWNS at the end of 16 minutes of Hoquenna. And the Pulowa Cup will be in the building tomorrow in Sarovia Gardens. And we may just see the Sarovia CROWNS dynasty rise again.
I wanna love you, I wanna make you mine. Would you lay it on the line? Lay it on the line. Lay it on the line. Lay it on the line. Don't waste my time.
These days, there's just so much noise. But with Strata, you unlock Sarovia's premier social media platform. Buy Strata today. Stay connected.
Welcome back to Swords and Postgame Analysis. I'm Rory, and with me, as always, Denali Sariza, or as the ladies apparently call him, Dangling Don. We are here after yet another dominant CROWNS performance, this time in Sarovia Gardens against the Ajaccio Admirals. Despite the venue change and despite some silly antics by the CROWNS, the outcome remains the same, and the CROWNS are up 3-0 in the series, and they're on their way to yet another Pulowa Cup final sweep. They say that the hardest moment in sport is not the defeat, but rather understanding what comes next after the defeat. What comes next for the Ajaccio Admirals, Don?
Oh, it's over. Let's stop pretending. Man, I'm sick of this. We have to pretend to be impartial, sitting up here in this uncomfy as hell chair. Honestly, Rory, I bet you a woke block member made this chair. It's so bad. Whatever. This series is over. Pack it up. I'm eating popcorn tomorrow and waiting for the CROWNS to lift Lord Pulowa back up again. This series isn't hanging by a thread. It's already packed its bags. Game 4 in Sarovia? That's not a game, Rory. You know what that is? A delayed ceremony. The CROWNS didn't just beat Ajaccio tonight. They erased them. Again! Every shift looked like a colors team versus a championship team. Wasn't even close.
And this is where history enters the conversation, Don. Last season, the CROWNS lost the finals in 5 games against the Virgos Vortex. And who other than Dirkos Atlas, away from home, watching another team celebrate the trophy that was meant for them. Now, they return home with a chance to finish the story themselves. It's unfinished business for Bedera and Jerome, and Matos Kane to an extent, with the Vortex beating the Crusaders in the semifinals.
It's also probably pretty awkward for Cusco Faso, but the point is, sport remembers unfinished business. You don't forget losing a cup, ever. That sticks in your ribs. All year, this team's been playing like they left something on the table, because they did. And now, they get to fix it in front of their own people. You win the Pulowa Cup at home, that changes how a dynasty feels forever. Fans see it. City owns it. Banners go up while the crowd's still screaming. It's a party for a week straight. Last year, they walked off somebody else's ice miserable. Next game, they might skate off their ice immortal. And that's what Hoquenna is all about, baby.
It seems here in Game 3, there's no desperation left for Ajaccio. Nothing left in the tank. They're not trying to win games, they're just trying to survive.
They're cooked, Rory. Mentally cooked. You can tell when a team stops believing they can win 4 games. They start hoping just not to get embarrassed. Big difference in how they play, and you can see the cautiousness unfold before your eyes. Sure, the Admirals are being a bit more chippy now than we're used to, but too little and a whole lot of too late.
Crowns aren't tightening up either. That's the scary part. Usually teams get nervous near a win. You saw Virgos play sloppier against both Kyiv and Sarholm in Season 2 when it became clear they were going to win. But not here, surprisingly.
No, Rory, not here. And that's the difference between a team that thinks it's great and a team that knows it is. The Crowns tonight, cool, calm, and collected. No nerves, no sloppy passes. They were all business. They're playing like a team that's already walked through the fire before and came out stronger. And well, that's because they are. You talk about that loss last season to Virgos. That sticks with you. Every training session, every little mistake you make, and it leads to that, you remember the moment someone else lifted up your trophy. That's the fuel. These guys won it.
And unfortunately for the Admirals, that fuel has now been poured all over them, and the Crowns have very much lit the match.
It has, man. It really has. And I feel a little bad for them, if anything, because if you just looked at their roster on paper, not to mention their history, this is not a bad team. There's talent there. Nix has scored plenty of goals in her own right. Toros is a hell of an aggressive forward. Amaya? Well, they can't all be winners. But look, Rory, listen. These guys, right? They got number 2 on the regular season rankings, just below the Crowns. The Bolts gave the Crowns a way harder time than they're getting now, but the Admirals surpassed them anyway. And let's not forget, this is the team that shocked the nation and beat Belbada in Game 7. Everybody and their mother thought the Legion had that one in the bag.
And yet now, they're being manhandled by the Crowns.
Well, Rory, that's because talent alone doesn't win you a series against a machine like this. Don't get me wrong about everything I just said about the Admirals, but the Crowns are on a whole other level. Right now, the Crowns look less like a team of players and more like an all-powerful hive mind that just keeps rolling over you, shift after shift.
They just want to play Hoquenna, Carol.
Shut up, Rory. Nobody's going to get that reference.
All the same, though, another good word for the Crowns would be system. You watch them play. It's textbook stuff, but it's polished, it's refined, and most importantly, it's done at full speed. Most teams can do the right things, slowly. The Admirals definitely played better today than they did yesterday, at least until the waning minutes of the second half. But the Crowns? They're doing the right things fast, and the Admirals just can't keep up. Every time they try to break out, there's already 10 million of these guys waiting for them.
And that leads into something else I noticed tonight. The Crowns win almost every little battle over the puck. I'm talking about the little thingies that don't show up on the score bug. Mini face-offs where there's a loose puck and possession is decided by half a damn second. These little battles are everything in Hoquenna. Everybody watching at home loves the big goals, the breakaways, the fancy passes, but championships are won in the corners and on the boards. They're won when 2 guys crash into each other and one of them comes out with the puck. Tonight, that guy was almost always wearing Crowns colors.
Let's finish up by talking about the crowd for a moment, Don. The Gardens were loud tonight. Over 40 people, according to league statistics. This wasn't just a normal loud. It was a kind of like rolling, roaring noise that builds when a fan base knows something historic might be about to happen.
Oh, they sure as hell know it. Those fans smell a sweep coming, Rory. We've always said that the Crowns are the biggest draw in the league, and you could see it in the stands. People were sitting, standing, or even on mounts, all chanting. I saw maybe a few people in blue. Everyone else was wearing orange. That's a fan base that has been waiting all season to get back what belongs to them. They remember Season 2, just like the players do. Losing stings, but it also binds a city together, and this city wants redemption.
It may well arrive in Game 4, Don.
It may. At this point, if they win tomorrow, you're not just talking about a good team anymore. We'll witness the birth of a dynasty, multiple deep playoff runs, redemption after heartbreak, and imagine if they do it on home ice. We'll just have to see if those gals and their pals in white and blue can figure out how to inflict some heartbreak of their own, because otherwise, the so-called greatest of all time is going to have to surrender that cup he's been holding oh so dearly.
For sure, Don. That said, I think we'll cap it off here. I'm Rory with Dangling Don Cereza, and this has been yet another award-winning segment of Swords In. Stay tuned tomorrow night because it's game point, 3 games to none, and it could all be over within a day's time.